Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Ryan Show YouTube channel. Today, I had the honor of sitting down with Robert Kool Bell, the legendary frontman and founder of Kool and the Gang, one of the greatest American staples of all time. You can hear their music in major motion pictures such as Pulp Fiction and Rocky. And if you were like me, you played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas quite a bit as a kid and maybe danced once or twice to Hollywood swinging. Finally, after all these years, you can vote for Kool and the Gang to be a part of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't know how it took this long for them to be inducted, but go vote for them now. And this episode is brought to you by Kool's own champagne, Le Kool, which can be purchased online at lecoolchampagne.com. It is a perfect drink for this summer. Hold me to it. Now, without further ado, here is my sit down with the legendary Robert Kool Bell of Kool and the Gang. And we are back for another edition of the Ryan Show FM. This is a study on Americana, and we have one of the greatest contributors to American culture here with us tonight. Indeed, this is one of those bucket list moments because the legend himself, Robert Kool Bell, from Kool and the Gang, the founder of Kool and the Gang, one of the greatest musicians of all time, is here on the Ryan Show FM. Put your hands together, baby. What's happening? Good to see you, Mr. Bell. How are you tonight?
Hey Ryan, how you doing, man? You're giving me all those accolades, man.
You know what? It's a long time coming that you get your accolades. So you finally hit what we call around here the Triple Crown, right? Hollywood Walk of Fame, Songwriters Hall of Fame, and now finally Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm gonna start by saying this. I've been trying to get you on here forever. Shouts to my man Damani for setting it up. But I've been trying to say, yo, we got to start a petition to get Mr. Bell into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And now finally, we didn't even have to start the petition. They've allowed it. I mean, what was the holdup there?
Well, Ryan, I'm celebrating 60 years this year, and it took 60 years to get nominated in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, we're just nominated. We got to get those votes, as you know.
But honestly, it should be a first ballot induction. I mean, not just when it comes to celebration. Everybody knows about the biggest song. I'd say that was number one hit, Celebration, definitely. But your contribution to the shift and kind of bridging together disco, rock, and that new age sound. One of my favorite songs, Kool and the Gang songs of all time, is Summer Madness.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
That's Will Smith. He did Summertime, went platinum, and ended up becoming a movie star. Summertime, Summer Madness. Go ahead, though.
oh man, just what an incredible song. And actually it was used. Mr. Cheeks, the rapper from Lost Boys, he's the other co-host of this program, partner of mine for a long time. And that's the intro to his Lost Boys Legal Drug Money is actually that song in the background. And I always wondered, do you listen to hip hop?
Yeah, I mean, I got my sons around me. My son Muhammad Hakeem. Yeah, definitely. And we're just the most sampled band in hip hop as well, which makes us the most sampled band in the world because 50 years of hip hop, no one else is doing it. I mean, okay, Madonna used a piece of one of my songs,
Yeah.
Janet Jackson, but everything was hip hop, and we're 50 years.
Yeah, and that was my next question was hip hop has been benefited so much from Kool and the Gang, like you mentioned, being sampled all those times. So of all these rappers that you've been exposed to over the years, who do you think the greatest rapper is to you? Greatest rapper of all time. Or your favorite
That's
at
not a
least.
hard question, man. Um, Will Smith might not be the greatest rapper, but he used one of the greatest songs, Summer Madness, changed it to Summertime, and it went, where it went. I mean, there's been a lot of other rappers who did my music, Eric B., Tribe Called Quest. There's a whole line of them.
Yeah.
My man from Amir,
Yeah.
Questlove, he told me that you can sample 1,800 times. I said, what?
What?
1,800 times? 1,800 times? What? I said, I need to put somebody on sample patrol. That many times. But it's a good thing. It's a good feeling. Going back to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we did 48 shows with Van Halen. We did 10 shows with Kid Rock. We played with Elton John. We played with Dire Straits. Now you're talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Some of these other people and I have no problem with that. That's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They haven't done what we did. They must have thought we were just a disco band. Look, we did jazz, as you said. We have jazz, we have pop, we have rock. You know, we even messed around a little country western one time.
Wow.
But yeah,
Wow.
so we're proud to be a part of that. But the main thing is we need those votes, so we got to get in.
I mean, I just feel like I'm sorry, but it's a no-brainer, and, just your music is such a part of the fabric of American culture. So many different great movies, like, you look at Pulp Fiction,
Right.
Jungle Boogie. What was it like when you watched Pulp Fiction and saw it? Did you know that was coming? Did they already hit you guys off? Quentin
Yeah,
already
well,
let you guys know?
we did and we did, you know, because it opened up with talking about everything's cool in the game, you know.
Yeah,
And then you talk about, you know, Jungle Boogie and some of our songs. I didn't know that Quentin Tarantino was a fan, you know, and he
yeah,
used us in there. But like you said, there has been many. I mean, you're talking about Rocky, the very first Rocky. There you go with your song, Summer Madness.
that's right.
Laying on the bed,
Yep.
figure out what he gonna do. Then you got a song called "Be Cool" that had one of my songs in. You know, so it's been quite a few movies. Yeah.
I remember one of my favorite Kool and the Gang moments and favorite songs that I discovered as a kid was through Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It's this wild video game where you run around doing all types of crimes, and I used to be bumping Hollywood Swinging
Uh huh.
as I was going through those streets of Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Once again, it's just baffling to me that you guys were in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when there's just so many different staples of the American culture connected to Kool and the Gang. How do you feel when you see something like that?
Well, I mean, it's a blessing to know that what's going on with our music. Um, in the '70s, we didn't have a lead singer. We were more like a funk chant sort of a band. We even did a track for four songs for the Last Poets, and you know they were had a different approach on rapping and hip hop. So I mean, again, you know, I'm looking at what has happened, and I think one of the things that that attracted the hip hop world to us that those tracks didn't have no lead vocals like the '80s. So if a guy wants the drum beat, it was clean. You can get it. The guitar, horn licks, because there was no vocals in the way. It wasn't until the '80s when they call us all the pop group or whatever. You know, we're just a musical group, and we just grow in the music. But I think that had a lot to do with it. It was able to grab those tracks and grab those little pieces for their songs.
Definitely makes sense. What was it that made you guys add a lead singer?
Okay, on tour with the Jackson Five, Michael was with them at the time. A guy by the name of Dick Griffey, who had Soul Out Records, was the promoter. So he said, "Hey, so you guys are doing good on the tour." He said, "But I think you need a lead singer." And we said, "What?" Okay. We thought about it. I said, "Well, you know, the Commodores had Lionel Richie, you
Yeah.
know, Earth, Wind and Fire had Maurice White, Philip Bailey." We said, "Well, maybe it is time to do that." So that's when JT joined the band.
Wow.
My wife and I was hanging out in New York at Regimes in Studio 54. So I went back to the guys and I said, "Listen, I got a great title for JT and new album." And my brother said, "What?" I said, "Ladies Night." He said, "Wow, man, they got one of those all over the world." And that was our first single. We didn't know that record was going to explode like that. Frankie Crocker of New York, you know, he broke the record.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a record that was. So you mentioned Studio 54. Do you remember what's your craziest moment that you remember from Studio 54?
Well, Frankie Crocker riding on a horse in the middle in the studio. Yeah.
Oh,
But we had a good time there. I mean,
riding a horse.
sometimes they give you a hard time. You know, those the security guys. Trying to get in online, trying to get in there. Ask Now Rogers about that. You know, he came out with a song that became very popular because they didn't want to let him in.
Oh my god. So, Celebration, you guys have one of the biggest party songs of all time. I gotta ask you, you must be a connoisseur of parties. We got Le Cool, the champagne out now. So it's not slowing down anytime soon, it seems, when it comes to parties. What is the craziest party that you've ever been to?
Wow, the craziest party.
Wildest party,
Uh,
wildest celebration.
I would have to say those different times going into Studio 54. You know, it was crazy. You know,
Yeah, I hear some stuff. They say what happened in Studio 54 stays in Studio 54.
it's like Vegas, right? Yeah, that was a good time for us. Although also Frankie Crocker, also
Yeah.
he's the one that broke Hollywood swinging. As you know, he used to
Ooh,
be the Hollywood Frankie Crocker, not the Hollywood swinging. He broke Hollywood swinging also.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
When you guys would put these songs together, were you guys kind of coming up with a lot of it on the spot? Because it seems like there's so many different components to it, to the band itself. So, like, what's a studio session like with Kool and the Gang?
Well, some of it was in the studio, and some of it was if I or one of the guys come up with a hook or something
Yeah.
like that, we all work around and develop the song, like Ladies'
Oh,
Night was, and George Brown was the main writer for that. Jungle Boogie, Hollywood Swinging, and Funky Style. The record
man.
company came to us and said, "Listen, you guys are doing all right. You're doing territorial hits,
Yeah.
Virginia, New York, Philadelphia, Connecticut." He said, "But I got this guy, this producer, who just came off a big record of Soul Makuso, Mongo de Bongo, big record. He said, I want this guy to produce your next record."
Yeah.
So we listened to him. We had a meeting with him. We said we weren't feeling it. So we went downtown in the village to a studio called Baggies. We went in there around 8 o'clock in the morning. We came out at midnight. We had created funky stuff, Jungle Boogie, and Hollywood Swinger.
Wow. All in the same night.
All this,
And they're so different. All those songs are so different.
right, right. I guess our back was against the wall. That came later to get down on it.
Wow, that is insane.
And
So
they didn't mess with us no more. No more problems with the record company no more. I guess that's you call that pressure, right?
I guess so. That's wild, man.
Yeah.
That is an absolutely wild story. So Jungle Boogie is like who did the whole whose idea was the whole Tarzan in the background?
Well, that actually, this guy worked for us. He was one of the guys on our crew.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, we called him into the studio. He said, "Put something on this track." His name was Donald Boyce. We call him the Boyce. He used to start putting all that jungle sound on there, man. The people today still be looking for that. Matter of fact, we just played Vegas doing Super Bowl because we have a residency. Uh,
Congrats on the residency. I heard that.
People have been asking about that part of the song. So I guess I'm gonna send you a picture. We get you a picture. We found a local guy dressed up as a genie, and he sounds just like the original guy for our show in Vegas.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
The voice, as you'd say.
yeah. The boys will try to get that picture to you.
If you could go back and make a super group now, if you could form one ultimate super group with your contemporaries, who would be in it?
Well, I kind of got that now. What I mean by that is this: we call ourselves the Magnificent Seven, and six of my partners have passed. I'm kind of like the last man standing. But during that time period, I had guys that been with me for 15 years, 10 years, 30 years. And so altogether, I got 10 guys, some 30 to 20. I call it the Magnificent 10. And you know, that's what we got out there. And that's what we did in Vegas. And people said, plus we got a production with elephants and stuff, and girls going up in the ceiling and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like the new Cool in the Gang.
Yo, that's like Cool and the Gang revived on steroids with elephants in the background.
Video.
Man, that
Not real
Vegas.
elephant, maybe, but
Yeah, no, yo, honestly, I would not put it past Vegas at this point. Where's the residency at?
Westgate.
Okay, so wait, so you're gonna be spending a lot of time out in Vegas at this point, which goes hand in hand
Right.
with the champagne. It's kind of all coming full circle for you now as an entrepreneur. Were you as much of an entrepreneur back then as you are now?
Well, I think I'm more of an entrepreneur now. The champagne started about 10 years ago. I had a tour in France, and we had about 20 sold out shows. So the promoter came up to me. He said, "Well, would you like to have champagne on your tour?" Because he said, "I'm doing something with the late Barry White family, whatever, with the Barry White lookalike, and one of the Bee Gees." So I said, "Well, um, I don't think I want to do that on a tour because my fans not gonna want to buy a bottle of champagne. They want the T-shirts and caps and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff." I said, "But what I want to do, I want to get on the shelf." So he looked at me. I guess he was looking at me like, I was crazy or something. Yeah, I want to get on the shelf. I want to get on the shelf. I want to be like Dom Perignon, Cristal,
Yeah.
Wu Clicquot, Don Menard.
Top to top.
And then he looked at me like I was crazy. So I ended up coming up with a name called Le Cool. Because, part of my name that had that French vibe to it. And we ended up cutting a deal with the Birchlow family up in Ipanay. My partner, Muhammad Moretta, was a part of that. And we cut a deal with the Birchlow family. And we came into America almost like Eddie Murphy. And he came in as Le Cool. And people, oh, what is Le Cool? You know. So I had part of my name. And in terms of distribution, we had
Yeah.
one company. I'm not going to mention the name, but they said to us, my partner, said, "Well, cool. Well, cool ain't no Don, isn't that Perry on the big boys?" I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, brother, go back to them and ask them whenever uh, they're drinking Don Perignon Cristal, what song are they playing?" He said, "Oh,
That's right.
Celebration." Then the same company wanted them to have a meeting with us. I said, "No, I'm not going to do that because you weren't a believer from the beginning." So I went and did it with Fedway. And
Wow.
Fedway for Jersey is doing a good job for us.
And they're doing their thing. Yeah, I mean, I had some over the summer when I met you for the first time at Ohika Castle, and it's a good champagne. There's a lot of celebrity brands, and they're just white labeling something, and they're cool. There's a culture behind it. You guys are going around. I even heard something about you guys gifted a bunch of bottles to Taylor Swift and the whole crew at the Super Bowl that was rooting on Travis Kelsey there.
Yeah, I mean, I tell people, listen, because we have tastings. I do tastings
Yeah.
also. I said, now,
Okay.
if you like the champagne, tell me that you like it. Don't say it because it's my champagne.
Yeah.
Say it because you like it. And the champagne's been right now, right? That's like the star. I'm backing up the star. The star is a cool champagne.
That's great.
The ladies' night. I mean the rosés. So we got the first lady. We got the first
Yeah.
lady that's doing well.
That's a beautiful bottle. That's a nice looking bottle. See, like the marketing behind it, how involved are you in like picking out how things look?
Well, I mean, we have different guys that's working for us right now. We
Yeah.
got the money. I got a guy out from Atlanta. I mean, my sons. Both of my sons are working with me on that. Also, we're on the Norwegian cruise line. So we're on the Norwegian cruise, and we're getting ready to do a what do you call it, a throwback cruise out in California with Carnival and with Royal Caribbean. So we're working to get our champagne on that as well. So we're doing our thing. It's a little time, but we're getting there.
It seems that the smart thing to do is to kind of build an ecosystem around the music, and that's exactly what you've done now. The champagne, every like you said, every single person is listening to Celebration when they pop that bottle on New Year's Eve or whenever it is that whenever you're celebrating, literally whenever you're celebrating. So you're able to capitalize on that with the champagne. It was just meant to be. So anybody that's out here listening, everybody needs to go buy a full case of the cool. There's a website right now they can just go to and purchase it. Where can they go and buy some right now?
The cool champagne.
There you go, folks. That's perfect. That's exactly we're gonna do that. This is one thing I think about too is AI, right? That's something you probably never even imagined being a thing. As a musician, how do you feel about artificial intelligence simulating your voice and creating songs as Cool in the Gang? You guys performing other people's songs. How do you feel about that? Does it frighten you?
Well, Ryan, I'm not really on top of that. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm old school. My children and the people that works around me talks about that. I said, man, give me the days back. When you get on the bus, when you have vinyl out there, if you sell a million records, you got $1 million. When you're selling CDs, what have you? Give me the good old days. Right now, the streaming stuff, I don't know what river it goes into. It probably don't go into our pocket. What goes down somebody's stream. So I just trying to be honest with you, man. I haven't really stayed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's something to look into, especially because right now, if you type in, say, Cool in the Gang celebration, they'll have 10 different cartoon characters singing it. You better get some royalties for that AI
I see
somehow, some way. It's a whole nother thing people are gonna have to get
that part.
used to.
Right, that part is right. My team that's around me, like the Demanis and the Morettas, my sons, they're on that type of thing. Top of that. Now the Muppets did Jungle Boogie, and they played Celebration. I came home one day. My neighbor's kids, father said, uh, "That's the guy that did the song with the Muppets." He said, "What? That old guy?" But no, but we got captured a whole nother audience just with something like that.
That's the beauty of it, and that's why, like, to come full circle here as we close things out, that's what's so great about Kool and the Gang and why we study the American culture so heavily. Because you're infused into so many different generations, not just from the records that were playing at Studio 54
Right.
and on the radio back then, but to the Muppets imitating and having iterations of your songs, to Grand Theft Auto playing it in the car as you're running people down. Just wild to think that it's been so everlasting.
Yeah. I said it. You live and learn, and then you learn to live. Stay positive about what you're doing. Because learning to live is when you have analyzed the things that mistakes that you had. Not that I want to go back and change that, but that has given me an understanding of how to be successful in this business. We have a song called "Love the Life You Live." A lot of people love that song. We have a song called "Love and Understanding," and Kid Rock said he sampled that song when we played with him.
Wow.
So again, stay positive, be positive, uh, and you can say let the music take your mind too. That's another.
It really does.
We just came out 2 months ago, and my partner passed, George Brown, and the album that he did is that people just want to have fun. After COVID, after all the negative things in the world, people just want to have fun for a minute and celebrate life. That's what.
That is the best advice you could have given us, Mr. Bell. Honestly, stay positive and have fun. Everything's falling down as it is. We might as well have fun while everything's crashing. This is the Ryan Show FM. Mr. Robert Kool Bell's in studio. Thank you, Mr. Bell. Everybody, thanks for listening. Stay tuned because we got more Kool in the Gang coming your way.